Extraordinary aerial images show a mysterious hole that may be up to 300 feet wide.
Police, including the one that captured this video on dash cam, walked off.
شناورهای تجاری در منطقه تنگه هرمز و خلیج فارس.
The bus, and then disaster strikes. This man and woman in South.
We are now reporting on these massive multi-vehicle pileups. This one, more than 75 people.
Tennessee may have been the hardest hit. Slick roads and spinning tires made for some frustrated drivers in Bradley County. This guy slammed into a guardrail.
Hit a icy spot on the road or a slushy spot and just held on for the ride.
Ice and big rigs don't mix. The driver of this truck learned that the hard way, crawling to safety after losing control on an icy patch of Interstate 45 southwest of Dallas. The truck's cab smashed through the guardrail on a bridge Monday afternoon. On Tuesday, the truck was still dangling dangerously, gripping the edge of the roadway. Interstates all over North Texas are a mess, thanks to icy conditions.
There's paths that the cars have made, and I just kind of followed those paths.
This 25-car pileup outside Amarillo, Texas, snarled traffic for miles. And it's not just the roadways, it's the runways, too. This American Airlines jet veered off the taxiway at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. Luckily, none of the 68 people on board Flight 296 were hurt. They deplaned through an emergency exit. Runways at DFW reopened Tuesday after more than 1,000 flights were canceled Monday, more than half of all the inbound and outbound flights for the evening. Further east, slow going in parts of North Carolina. A glaze of ice covering the highways brought traffic to a crawl. Already, State Highway Patrol has responded to more than 1,700 collisions. And look at this, North Carolina's Wrightsville Beach, dusted with snow. Not exactly bikini weather. In West Little Rock, Arkansas, one of the worst hills, Reservoir Road, forced some drivers to abandon their cars. Others ended up in ditches or trees.
A lot of cars have been trying and not many have been making it.
This man's been trying to help others.
I've only given rides to 3 people, driven 4 cars up the hill.
Even Georgia got a healthy dose of the white stuff. Numerous counties canceled school, thanks to hazardous driving conditions and the promise of more snow and ice to come. Randy Kay, CNN, New York.
And before we go, an urgent expedition is to start probing 4 giant craters that have appeared in gas-rich northern Siberia. Extraordinary aerial images show a mysterious hole that may be up to 300 feet wide in the Yamal Peninsula of northern Russia. The cause of the hole's sudden appearance in Yamal, which translates to the end of the world, is not yet known. But this is not the first time holes have been seen. From 2013, when the first such hole appeared in Yamal, 7 holes are now raising worries among local people. A Russian expert says the cause is most likely to be global warming, releasing gases from under the surface. Experts say that the darkening around the inner rim of the crater indicates severe burning, which scorched its edges.
Now to that powerful explosion in New Jersey that was caught on a police cruiser's dash cam. The blast destroyed a home and injured more than a dozen people.
As ABC's Marcy Gonzalez reports, utility workers are now restoring service to this neighborhood where the explosion took place.
Today, an up-close look at the shredded remnants of a home left behind after this. The natural gas explosion yesterday blowing a house in Stafford Township, New Jersey from its foundation. People as far as a mile away could feel the blast.
All right, we got a critical. Got one down critical. One down critical. Okay, 10-4, we'll put a bird up.
The house was under renovation and empty, but 15 people were hurt, including 6 firefighters, as well as 2 utility workers who had to be airlifted to an ER. One is still in critical condition. They were in this neighborhood because just 90 minutes earlier, someone reported smelling gas. While crews tried to find the source, 75 homes were evacuated. Police, including the one that captured this video on dashcam, blocked off the surrounding streets.
And that made the whole difference, because if they didn't do that, it could have been worse.
Investigators found this was an accident that happened after a 2-inch gas main somehow broke. The police chief saying that could happen anywhere, and the key is to react quickly.
First thing they should do is, if they smell gas, they should leave the premises and then call immediately and have someone come take a look.
And the people who own this home that was destroyed actually live next door. We're told the blast broke their windows, but they're okay. Meanwhile, most of their neighbors have been allowed to return home. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC 7 News.
Governors of Georgia and Alabama have declared a state of emergency with ice, sleet, snow, freezing rain expected across both states. Our friends in Atlanta, there have been several school districts canceling classes there today.
The relentless record-breaking cold and snow really causing a lot of problems in the region. In Tennessee, tens of thousands of residents without power in 6 counties. The state has reported dozens of weather-related deaths in the past week.
In North Carolina, snow and icy roads caused problems for commuters there. Parts of Interstate 85 in Rowan County, parts of that were closed after a pickup truck overturned and several other vehicles crashed nearby. Officials say the driver of the pickup was not injured.
Okay, so how long until things return to normal for the Southeast? Let's ask meteorologist Pedro Javaheri. He's got an early look at your forecast this morning.
John and Christine, good morning to you. Yes, it's going to be one of those days, especially around central and northern Texas, yet again, sort of a slushy accumulation day there with 1 to 2 inches generally around Dallas Metro. We've seen hundreds of flights impacted earlier in the week, and the temperatures should warm up into the 40s. So I don't foresee much sticking around by the evening hours, but still enough falling during the morning commute to cause some issues around Dallas Metro and points eastward. Really about 45 or so million people going to be impacted by wintry weather. Winter storm warnings in place. You don't see this every single day in places like Birmingham, Tupelo, or Atlanta, but Wednesday will be one of those days where we know snow accumulation is going to be a probability, and also some wintry weather pushing into areas of, say, central Iowa. But here we go to the south. We've got all the ingredients in place. Southern storm system tracking across the Gulf of Mexico. Plenty of moisture there. Plenty of cold air to the north. So this narrow band right here, that's again the area where we have the 40 or so million people. That's the area we're concerned about for snow beginning into the late morning and early afternoon hours. By the overnight hours, it should begin to taper off. The end result will be, again, a few inches left in place, generally speaking, around Atlanta, perhaps 2 to 3, while northern areas of, say, North Carolina could see far greater amounts, around 8 to 10 inches maximum.
They stepped off the bus, and then disaster strikes. This man and woman in South Korea were lucky to only suffer minor injuries after falling into this 10-foot hole, according to The Guardian. The pair were rescued by the local fire department. The cause of the sinkhole, which opened up near a construction site, is being investigated by the Korean Geotechnical Society and city officials, reports the BBC. I'm Matt Sampson, The Weather Channel.
And welcome back. The truck driver accused of causing that fiery train crash out in Southern California facing charges this noon. 54-year-old Jose Alejandro Sanchez Ramirez accused of just abandoning his truck on the tracks in Oxnard yesterday morning. A Metrolink commuter train slammed right into it, leaving 30 people injured, 4 of them critically hurt. Investigators say there was nothing wrong mechanically with that truck.
It was not stuck, bottomed out on the track or something like that. It had actually traveled down the railroad track itself.
Now, police found the suspect about 45 minutes after the crash, more than a mile away from the scene. He is now charged with suspicion of felony hit and run.
Some breaking news to bring you now. The Islamic State knife man, nicknamed Jihadi John, has been identified by the Washington Post. He's been named as Mohammed Emwazi from West London. The militant has appeared in videos before beheading hostages, including the British aid volunteer Alan Henning. Well, Mark White has more on this for us. Tell us what you know, Mark.
Well, we should say, first of all, that this is the Washington Post who have released this story this morning, claiming that this man who has been branded in the popular press as Jihadi John is this individual, Mohammed Emwazi, not independently verified, and certainly the police and other authorities are not reporting, are not confirming this, and in fact are urging that we are very careful with regard to speculation, because, as they say, lives are potentially at risk here. But the Washington Post, anyway, has just posted on its website details of an exclusive story that they have been working on, speaking to people that they say are close friends of Mohammed Emwazi. He's a 27-year-old British national who was born in Kuwait and has lived in West London, W10, and the Ladbroke Grove area of West London. Now, according to the Post, he travelled out to Syria in 2012 and joined up with the group Islamic State at that time. And the Washington Post has interviewed someone who's described as a close friend, who said that as far as they were concerned, they are absolutely sure that it is him. They've also spoken to those representing human rights groups that have some knowledge in this area as well, who are saying that they feel fairly certain that it is the same person. As I say, Scotland Yard being very cautious or urging us to be very cautious about speculating, but these are reports coming through from the Washington Post this morning, of course, a very reputable news organisation who have been investigating and digging down into this story, and they are naming this man who has become known as Jihadi John as Mohammed Emwazi, a 27-year-old British national born in Kuwait who left the UK in 2012 to travel out to Syria and who joined up with the Islamic State. And of course, he's known to us for these horrific videos that have been posted at regular intervals showing the brutal murder of Western nationals, including, of course, Americans and British nationals.
شناورهای تونزو شلیک شد. این هست که این موشک‌ها با فاصله 5 متر از سطح آب 15 فروردین این عملیات توسط شناورهای نیروی دریایی در حال و با فریاد الله اکبر در جایگاه مواجه شد. در حال حرکت هستند. شناورهای تجاری در منطقه تنگه هرمز و خلیج فارس هست. ان شاء الله که تا مراحل
Every week we are now reporting on these massive multi-vehicle pileups. This one, more than 75 vehicles sending at least 17 folks to the hospital along I-95 in Bangor, Maine.
There was about 3 inches of snow on the road, which, by the way, for Bangor is not a lot of snow. You know, the crash included dozens of cars, a tractor trailer, even a school bus full of children, none of whom were hurt. But this just proves to you 3 inches is nothing for Bangor, and this can happen. So keep that in mind.
Well, they also did report very poor visibility. There was some like whiteout conditions, and boom.
Another shooting incident has taken place in the U.S. state of Missouri, where a man killed 7 relatives and neighbors before taking his own life. The 36-year-old male went on a house-to-house shooting rampage in a small town of Tyrone on Thursday night. Another person was wounded and has been taken to a hospital. The gunman, identified as Joseph Aldridge, was found dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. The body of his mother was found at her home, but authorities said she appeared to have died of natural causes. The motive of the shooting is still unclear.
A juvenile female caller indicated that she was in the residence and apparently had heard gunshots. She immediately fled to a neighbor's house to notify authorities, and responding deputies found 2 deceased persons at this residence. Further investigation revealed 5 additional victims who were deceased and 1 additional victim who was wounded in 3 additional residences.
It's a tale of 2 volcanoes, one well known and one well hidden. The eruption of Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines in 1991 was the second largest of the 20th century. It killed about 800 people. Look at it today. Less than a quarter century later, the lake in the crater's center is a popular resort. Now, geologists in Colombia's Caldas province report they've found a new volcano that was hiding in plain sight for centuries. They say a series of hills that really don't look like a volcano is exactly that, and they're calling it El Escondido. The geologists say hot springs in the area indicate that heat from cooling volcanic magma is beneath the surface. They don't know when El Escondido last erupted, and they assure locals there are no signs it will come back to life anytime soon. I'm Matt Sampson, The Weather Channel.
Police in Afghanistan say more than 250 people have been killed in recent avalanches triggered by heavy snowfall. Officials say that number is expected to rise, with cold weather and difficult conditions hampering rescue efforts.
It's a big incident. There are around 2,000 people who've lost their homes. Some families fled with nothing, losing everything they had. So they need more humanitarian help.
Several different avalanches occurred between Tuesday and Thursday this week, following days of heavy snow across the country. In Panjshir province, north of Kabul, was the worst hit, where at least 186 people are known to have died. Hundreds of people remain cut off, with many roads completely blocked by deep snow. In some parts of the province, entire villages have been buried under snow. Rescue missions are ongoing in several areas. Many injured people have been taken by helicopters to an international hospital in Annaba district.